Hi, this is Luis Alberto Laconda with Eye on Sun Valley, and we are here in Ketchum Town Square at an event called Occupy Town Square that is addressing the housing issue and having a discussion regarding all the challenges that we currently find in Wood River Valley. So let's go and speak to different people about today's event. So why organize this event? Why is this important?
Hi, my name is Chris Giladowski. I'm a 5-year resident of Ketchum. I'm a manager at Limelight Hotel, and I organized the event of Occupy Town Square to kind of bring people who are for community housing in one place and kind of encourage them to push our city council, to push the local community towards support for such project as Bluebird Village. And I want to organize a positive for community housing movement here in Ketchum, Idaho, and Blaine County. We can't wait another 4 or 5 years to come up with another project that would relieve some of the housing shortage. What I heard is that people that lived here longer than me, people that were born here, people that were raised here, people that go generations here in Ketchum and Sun Valley, are having trouble remaining in the valley because they are getting kicked out. There's places like Ketch that get sold, the rent goes up by $600, and people are asked to leave. And when those people are asked to leave, there's no other option. I heard from other people, like, let those people drive down south from Haley or Bellevue or Shoshone, but that's not realistic because the housing in those cities, in those towns, is pretty much at the same level as Ketchum, which is a crisis and an emergency. Right now, my main push is for people to show up to the city council. The next one is June 7th, is the regular Ketchum City Council meeting at 4 o'clock. I want people to show up to the P&Z meeting on June 8th at 4:30 in support of Bluebird Village, but also to support common sense solution to this crisis, parking. You know, I value people more than parking spaces, and like one of the people that spoke at our rally said there will be a solution to parking. Where local businesses can't find workers, those businesses will shut down and there'll be plenty of parking. And Bluebird Village has gone above and beyond of what city ordinance requires of it. The city code doesn't require for the project to have any parking. They are creating 49 spaces for the residents of Ketchum.
Hi, I'm Michael David. I'm on the Ketchum City Council. I'm in my 3rd term. I've been doing this for quite a while. And I'm here, I'm here today because I want to hear the voices. I want to hear what the situation on the ground is. We can get in our bubble in the city council chambers and hear from just a few privileged few that have the resources to be able to come talk about it. And it's easy to forget about the real people that are being negatively impacted, and to hear their stories and to put a face and an individual to this problem that we all know is a serious problem. But I want to hear from the people.
One of the words used here is that we're in a housing crisis. How has this changed? Is this the climax of it, or has this been an ongoing issue?
Well, yeah, it's been an issue for decades in high-cost areas like this. But I do think we're at a tipping point, that it has reached that crisis point. I've described it as a house of cards. It appears when you drive down the street, when you go into a restaurant or a business, it appears to those that aren't paying attention that everything's okay. But the reality is that person that served you in the restaurant, that's their 4th job. They are overburdened by housing costs if they have a house at all. Many of the people that are waiting on you are living out of their cars. It's hidden better than it is in some of the big cities here. So what it is to me, it's a house of cards that's about to crumble if we don't actually take these ideas that have been around forever and implement them into action.
Yeah, expand a little bit about the relationship between housing and our labor force here. Where does the stress of both of those, how's that get impacted? That particular relationship, how does it get impacted, and how does that kind of manifest here natively in our community?
Sure. Well, we've got a huge labor shortage. So what you see, you open up the newspaper and there's columns and columns and columns of help wanted ads, and yet there's no place for people to live. And so it's purely just a math problem, right? That doesn't work. You need that to happen. So what happens then is the people take 2 or 3 part-time or 4 part-time jobs to make it happen. But we've got a lot of small business owners who those people, because they can't hire people, are having to work the business themselves, and that's just not sustainable. So they're starting to cut back in hours of operation. The level of service goes down, and eventually people shut their doors. And then you've got the people that come here and move here that rightfully want a higher level of service. They want to be able to go to a good restaurant and go out and recreate and do things like that. But if they can't get people to work and help them, it's going to become a less desirable place. Oftentimes opponents of affordable housing worry about their property values going down because affordable housing development is going to go in close to them. Well, the property values are going to go through the floor and away completely if the businesses all start shutting down. So it's all this vicious circle that we gotta work on.
Hi, I'm Courtney Hamilton. I was born and raised here in the Valley, and I'm currently on the Ketchum City Council. And I'm here just to see what the community is talking about in terms of affordable housing. This has been a really big issue for a really long time, and I think that it is so valuable and so important that they're finally starting to build a movement, because I think this is an issue that people in our community have been struggling with for a really long time, and that our government has been working on for a very long time, but building a coalition of people who are in support of affordable housing kind of at all costs, and whatever it takes to keep this community alive and thriving is really important. So I'm really excited to see how many people are out here and supporting the cause of affordable housing, and hopefully we can keep up this momentum and get some more solutions coming out of our city.
How does the housing issue impact our community, our economy, or just like the multiple areas of just living in this valley?
It impacts everything. I think, we've been talking about this as a community for, everybody's been saying 30 years, but somebody looked it up and it was 58 years ago was the first time the council talked about this issue. So it's been an issue for a really long time. And I think when you live in a resort community, housing is a particularly important issue because of the artificially inflated real estate prices because of second homeowners. And having a workforce that can serve the community, whether it's teaching their students or being a nurse or a firefighter or a server at their favorite restaurant. There's so many important people in this community that make this town run, and they're working at wages that are being paid by the small business owners in our community. And that's different than people who are coming in from outside of our community and making wages that are paid at big city rates. And so finding a place for the people who are working and running this town is really valuable and supremely important to our economy. I think we're seeing right now, especially, this is reaching the crisis level, and that a lot of businesses, particularly restaurants, are decreasing their days or their hours or their menu because they don't have enough people to run their business the way that they want it to be run. I have a lot of people that I know that live out of their cars in the summer, and I think that is, people forget that that's homelessness. That those people would love to have their own kitchen and their own shower at an affordable rate, and it just doesn't exist. And so they're camping.
I'm Matt Gorby, M-A-T-T-G-O-R-B-Y. This is my sister Tina Gorby, T-I-N-A, G-O-R-B-Y. I've lived in the Valley for 27 years. I'm out here to help be part of this process, to help find solutions. I think that this is a problem. This is something that we have to deal with, and we have to deal with it yesterday, not tomorrow. And that's the problem. We keep kicking this can down the road.
Tina Gorman. I've lived here for about 2 years, and we need more housing. You know, the stores are closing, the restaurants are closing, not because they can't find people that want to work, but because people who want to work can't find housing. Yeah, I've got friends whose rent has been doubled or tripled because it can be, and they can't afford it. They're working, you know, regular wage jobs. They're working in restaurants, they're working in retail, and they can't afford the high rents, so they're leaving.
Kendall, why is this event important for you today?
Yeah, so basically before COVID and then during COVID, I've been really trying to help a lot of friends find affordable rentals, even including myself. I've got 2 dogs, and the emotional thing for me is that I'm gonna be having to give them up because of what's happening. And you know, I just talked to some friends today as well, and they were like under the radar. Like we were in a canvas tent all winter because we had nowhere we could go. People that work here, that even make decent money here, but can't afford to pay rent.
All right, so Spencer, why is this event important? Why are you here?
I've had guys living on a little single lane bed in my living room all year, and like a longtime local like myself, it's super easy. My mom's got connections. We know people all over town. We get lucky. We know spots, but like it's crazy. People are moving out of town left and right